Hi, this is Cindy Drew, a big fan of Danny Coleman's show Rock on Radio. You obviously have good taste, too.
Come back here to the two-track studios of Deko Entertainment
Do we have to?
for yet another riveting week of Rock on Radio. Woohoo!
Especially after being in sunny, warmer weather for a while. That was nice.
I see that.
I know. You too.
I
Took turns.
too.
And Madison too.
And Matt,
we all went to.
That's right.
We all went to Florida at different times.
We gave a new definition to going south. That's exactly what happened.
88 degrees.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Welcome to Rock on Radio, producer Claire.
Thank you.
Our social media maven Madison is there. What you got going on over there, kiddo?
Nothing much. Just cooking on the iPhone, getting some work done.
Totally
I'm
ignoring
trying to
you.
get my posts and stuff for Deco scheduled for tomorrow.
Deco posts.
Yeah.
I know. I shared a couple of them there.
Yes, I always see. Thank you.
Yeah,
Your support is appreciated.
Well, and a couple of quick things. Number one, we still have our contest. Send Madison chocolate.
Or
I have, but you see,
candy.
you know what? Because I'm adult and did not go to check the P.O. box where the candy was supposed to be sent, I'm going to extend it another week, and I'll maybe make it like 7 or 8 prize packs that we give out. What do you think? Is that all right with you there, Miss Hershey's chocolate?
Oh, yes.
All right, good. All right. The other thing is, Claire, I want you to take a look at Madison's coif.
Oh, I love her hair. Very cool.
Thanks.
It's like a grayish lavender. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty.
It's a little pink.
Like a mauve almost, yeah.
This blue light is behind me. It's much more pink, like in the sun.
That's nice, though. It's a transition.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, I'm about to go back to brown soon. It's just while it was light, I was like, well, I may as well try something. So
It's cute.
here we are. Thanks, guys.
Now,
Yes.
the last time she went to the spa, she did say the next time she goes, she was going to make an appointment for each of us to go to the spa.
Well, yours would be a very
I don't
short
even
appointment.
remember that even. I don't even remember saying that.
She's talking about my hair length, Ray.
Yeah.
Ray's got more than me.
Yeah.
It's pretty close.
And obviously,
You could dye your little goatee.
yeah. What color would you dye that if you could dye it?
Oh, I don't know. Blue?
Salmon?
Salmon? Then it would match your face. Then we'd be able to see it.
Oh, well, it's gray.
Yeah, that's white.
You know what? Maybe buy that just for men stuff and put like stripes, like a zebra.
Like the girl that won the gold at the Olympics. She had striped hair, right?
Yes.
She had that like skunk sideways thing.
Sideways
She had
skunk.
stripes.
That'll
Yeah.
be her blues name, Sideways Skunk. Speaking of which, I spoke to our girlfriend just yesterday,
Which one?
Cricket Edgeworth.
Oh, from Clarksdale, Mississippi. Yeah.
Yep. Cricket's been,
Oh, you put out a video of her playing, right? I saw that.
She's been tearing up ham bones.
Ah, very nice.
Juke Joint Festival is going to be April 10th and 11th.
Oh, that's right, because we went down in March last year.
And Cricket, she said to me, when you coming back to Clarksdale? I was surprised you weren't with Christine. I said, well, the whole group didn't go down this year. I said, or maybe they did, and she just didn't tell me. But, you know.
She said that they were going out to bring them.
But, correct. I said, they only went down to present the awards.
That's right.
Down there. She goes, well, you coming down for the Juke Joint Festival? And I was like, ooh, what a great idea that would be. I said, but I'm sure you can't get a room. You don't need a room. You're staying with me and my husband.
Oh.
You come on down here. We got a drum kit and a bunch of crazy musicians going to be staying with us. She's
That'd be
playing
fun.
at Ground Zero. She's playing at Hambone. She's playing at possibly Cadhead. Roger's supposed to be setting her up with something.
Nice.
So she's got 3 gigs down there that
Very
week.
good.
And I asked her, I said, how often does Morgan wander around in Ground Zero? She said, all the time.
Wow. Very cool. Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman,
Yeah.
correct.
Nice.
So that would be pretty cool.
That's cool. Well, yeah, you should go.
Mm-hmm. The Zemlarian told me that her and the Blind Squirrel actually got to go in Vincent's recording studio.
Ooh.
And remember how he said he would invite us in and show us
Right, but
around,
it
but
was
he had
all-
everything
right.
in the middle because he's redoing it? She said everything's still in the middle, but he that was a year ago.
Well, wasn't it because of the Juke Joint Festival that he was redoing it or something? He was making room for something or other. There was some reason for it.
He had just finished recording Charlie Musselwhite's album.
Ah.
And so he waited for that to get done, and he wanted to redo the entire studio. I guess, well, now it is Clarksdale. It is Mississippi. They move at an entirely different time frame down there.
Yeah. The holes in the roof when it rains, they just cancel the events because the rain's coming in.
Yeah, Sean's Bad Apple Juke Joint. If it rains, he can't open because the roof leaks too bad.
Nice.
Oh,
A lot of fun. A lot of fun Clarksdale was. So, all right, anyway. Rock All Radio is brought to you by the 2-Track Studios of and by Deko Entertainment, who they just released, I think today, they released the 50th anniversary. Was it 50th anniversary of Angel that went out today there, Miss Deko?
No comment.
She's trying to work.
Sorry.
I am, actually.
She's the social media maven. I thought she had an in. I thought wrong. Can you imagine me thinking wrong? I can't imagine that possible. But what are you doing over there? You trying to electrocute yourself? What
you
are you
can't
doing?
hear that buzz?
Yeah, I can actually.
It's driving me bananas. I don't know.
You know what? Nope, that's not it. All right.
You just wanted to take my phone away from
No,
me.
I used to, and there's a gentleman, actually, Tommy Kroyek just posted a picture of one of his bands. When I used to play with Kevin Toft, the bass player, Tom Callan, would put his iPhone on top of his amplifier, and it would create a buzz or a hum
buzz.
just like that. So that's why I thought it might be that.
Yeah, no, I don't
But
know.
I do hear that buzz, but that'll go away. I have faith in you. I was just worried about what you were doing there. I didn't know what
Besides
you were
trying to
were
electrocute
happening.
myself.
Correct. Rock On Radio is sponsored by O'Connor's American Bar and Grill of East Hampton, Mount Holly, New Jersey. They are the official caterers of Rock On Radio. My entire family is there right now celebrating my nephew's birthday. But I'm not here. I'm here with you, following a buzz.
Sorry. Just
Chasing a
continue
buzz.
On. Continue on. I'll find it.
Lillipie's of Princeton, located inside the Princeton Shopping Center at 301 North Harrison Street. Lillipie's are the official dessert provider of Rock On Radio. Jen makes fantastic hand grenades of happiness, and we eat them until we explode. They are officially endorsed by Madison. See, there you go. Endorsed once again. The Jersey Shore Jazz and Blues Foundation. We just spoke about Christine Zemla and Scott the Blind Squirrel going down to Clarksdale. But if you go to jsjbf.org, you'll be able to see and all of the things that the Jersey Shore Jazz and Blues Foundation is involved with, from creating programs at schools to scholarships and everything beyond. Jersey Shore Jazz and Blues Foundation. New Jersey Stage Magazine. Go to newjerseystage.com and you will find the finest in arts and entertainment, which covers the Garden State and a little bit beyond. And Ray's pointing at you. So he, Gary does a fantastic job covering the arts and allows me to put my column in there every week. Rock On this week, Soundbites, and his station, radio station, the Penguin Rocks, is where you're listening to this show now, either there or on decoentertainment.com, or one of my many fantastic affiliates that I've had over in the UK or throughout the U.S. of A. Asbury Park Vibes. Go to AsburyParkVibes.com if you are a band, a solo artist, entertainer, comedian, realtor, anybody who might need a headshot or a photograph of what they do while performing. You can go there, and Doug and Diane have a staff of 15 photographers. They also do website bios and press releases, and they have a fantastic podcast. AsburyParkVibes.com. Phoenix Art Supply and Framing, located on Route 611, otherwise known as Southeastern Road, in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Jenny Schaefer has been providing quality artwork and supplies for more than 40 years. That's Phoenix Art Supply and Framing. Dee Dee's Lights. Dee Dee is the official chandler of Rock On Radio. She manufactures all of our candles and things of that nature that we put in our charitable prize packs and gifts and giveaways and so on and so forth. And I gave away I have, matter of fact, I got to reach out to my friend Beverly, who I've known forever, who is part of the committee for the last prize pack we gave away, to see who won this last weekend.
Who's going to be coming in as our guest co-host?
Yep, somebody will get a co-host spot here on Rock On Radio.
Nice.
Speaking of which, our friend Carrie from South Jersey is holding her second of a monthly songwriter series, once again at the Frosted Mug, and that will be on March 29th. It's kind of like an informal battle of the bands.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever gets the biggest applause gets a spot on Rock On Radio.
Oh, fun.
So
nice.
the first guest will be in next week.
Oh, good.
Chuck M.
Gotcha.
Chuck M. So he'll be making a drive from South Jersey up here to the hinterlands.
Nice.
To be on the show. The next one, again, is March 29th. You know who else is coming back in a couple of weeks?
No.
Amber.
Nice.
She has a thing called Fierce and Fretted, where it's all ladies who
nice.
go around and put on a couple-hour show of original acoustic music.
Nice.
All artists, and they got a big show coming up. She wants to come in and promote it.
Awesome.
So
Nice.
she'll be back in a couple weeks as well. Tyndall Road Brewing. They are located at 102 Farnsworth Avenue in Bordentown City. They are the official beer provider of Rock On Radio. So I said to Marcy last week,
Right.
I'm like, Marce, I'm going to be in Florida. When I get back, let me know what day you're available. I want to come in. And she says, come in whenever you want. I was like, yeah, but last time that happened, somebody changed the menu and your husband wiped it out. She says, all right, I'll let you know what day. And then she said, here's what we have for you to pick from.
Oh, good.
And
Okay.
I was like, all right.
We should have it. Like I said, I think we should have like an event that we watch you pick the pick.
You watch me pick the beer.
Well, like put it out that you're going to be picking the Danny's pick,
And have everybody
people
meet?
Come. Yeah, people
Okay.
want to come.
And what do we, how do we, we'll have to discuss that because we
Yeah.
want to promote it. We got to have something to give away. I got to like get put in a dunk tank of whatever this beer is I pick. There's got to be something. And if I'm drowning, don't save me. I have a DNR when it comes to that if I get
To be drowned by beer.
drowned
You
by
just-
my pick. It's a beautiful thing.
I guess.
Don't you think so?
I guess if you
You think it
want.
sounds fantastic?
That's great.
Right? Excellent. Woohoo! Can I count on your support, Ray?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right, good.
What a way to go.
That's
What
it.
a way to go.
Beautiful. That's Tyndall Road Brewery, located at 102 Farnsworth Avenue. That's a good idea. I think we'll talk to Marcy about that.
Yeah.
See? That's why she's brilliant. Brilliant, this woman is. Who am I missing? Or don't you have your pad
I
there?
wasn't paying attention. I do have my pad, but I was
She
trying
struggles with that part, though,
I was
about
try-
paying attention. That's the
I
part
was
where
trying
she
to get
struggles.
the hum out. So I wasn't listening while you were talking because I was trying to get this little
Okay.
glitchy hum thing.
The glitchy hum thing.
Yeah, it's like a static. No? Oh, maybe it's just my headphones.
It's gone.
Oh, I hear it.
No, it's back there.
Yeah, I hear
It's
it.
faint, but it's back there.
Yeah. All
You
right,
won't
well,
hear it on the
you-
finished product.
You'll
though.
do that. You'll master it.
Yeah.
It'll be beautiful.
We'll talk over it.
That's correct. Now, I promised, I think that's it, right? So, last,
Socks.
that's right. Sinister
I
Footwear.
was paying attention.
Go to sinisterfw.com and put in the promo code DCR Socks. You'll get 10% off your order. Tina sells these incredibly wild, crazy socks. And, like, I got a couple pair of Marvin the Martian socks. And you have a pair of what?
My Red Baron Peanuts one.
You have your Snoopy and the Red Baron socks. So, cartoon characters, movies, historical
Marvel.
events. There's all kinds of things that Tina sells. SinisterFW.com. And we also have a gentleman I just spoke to named David Marks wrote a book about the band XTC.
Okay.
And if you hear and go to his website and purchase the book, or you go to Sorrento Books, it's over in the UK, sorrentobooks.co.uk, and you enter the promo code Jersey10, and you'll get a percentage off on the book. I think
Oh,
it's
good.
10% off on the
Nice.
book or something. So I just talked to him the other day. We'll have more about that in an upcoming
Good.
thing. And how can they find out about us, Claire?
They go to DCROR.com, which is the short link for Danny Coleman's RockOnRadio.com.
Right, Facebook.com/Danny Coleman's Rock On Radio 2. That is the number 2. Instagram @Rock On Radio, all one word, all capital letters. I take a drink there to prepare for this. Now, you heard her on this show last week. Now, Mary and I have to tell this story. I told a little bit last week, but I'm going to tell it officially. Mary and I, first time I ever saw Mary was in the trailer for the movie Listen Up, Trenton Makes Music. And in all honesty, I'm looking at that, I'm thinking, I have no idea who that woman is. I really didn't. I'm thinking, well, she was somebody, obviously, and which is odd because I know pretty much everybody, or have heard of everybody in the Trenton music scene from, starting when I was a young kid, and my grandfather used to take me around, and then my father, and so on and so forth. And I had my mother's cousin was a musician as well. So I knew various people, but I wasn't aware. Like, it was racking my brain. So then Claire and I went to the premiere of Listen Up, Trenton Makes Music in Lambertville. And you were there. And your part in the film I found very touching and very emotional, actually. And I didn't actually get to meet you that evening. But I was talking to Art and Tommy and Frank, and I said, I think she'd be a great guest, for the radio show, which is how I reached out to you. And then, was it the next day or the day after?
I don't know. I mean, I had a similar experience. I saw you in the film, and then I looked toward the back, and I said, that guy was in the film. I wonder who he is. And he had such a happy face. I want to meet him. And then there was Bedlam after the film. So I thought, oh, where did he go? Oh, well, I guess, I'll never meet him.
Well, and the funny part was then the next day, or not the next day, a couple days later, I went to a restaurant in Cream Ridge to collect some Super Bowl pool winnings. And I'm at the bar with
bookie?
one of the cranky old members who does nothing but bust my chops. And in walks Mary and Ray, and I'm like, is that Mary? And she looked over at me. I was like, holy cow! So that was the first time we
It
met.
was very serendipitous.
It was.
And
I
then-
mean, there were only 2 people at the bar, and the bartender,
Yep.
and 2 people in a booth. So, I mean, I was,
What are the odds?
what are the odds?
So please welcome Mary Muehlleisen and her husband Ray to Rock On Radio. Mary, you were here because you were in the film, and Art. First off, I want to thank Steve Trevelise for having
Oh, yeah.
myself and Art and Dave
Dave
Hart
Hart.
in studio last week. Mary called in on that show.
I did.
as
I
well
recorded it. I was
And-
recording it on my side. So,
Great.
yeah.
Thank you.
to promote the film. Listen up, Trenton Makes music, and you are here, and you've got a plethora of vinyl and CD and everything else here. You are here because your brother Maury was essentially Jim Croce's right-hand man, or for those of us in the know, Croce was more like his right-hand man. So go ahead, Mayor.
Well-
Tell us about your brother, and then we'll go from there.
Well, I guess if you want to start at that point, Croce was Maury's backup guitarist when they first met. Jim was asked to just do some backup gigs with Maury when Maury was promoting his solo 1970 Capitol Records album, Gingerbread.
Okay.
And so that's how they started to get together. And they did that for about 18 months. And during that time, spending so much time together, Maury said to Jim, what do you do? And Jim had, the repertoire. I mean, 1,000 songs. And maybe more. It always amazed me. He knew every word to every song. So then it turned around and Maury became Jim's lead guitarist. That's a distinction that Tommy West, their producer, always told me to make. He said Jim was Maury's backup, Maury was Jim's lead. And so, but then it became such a joint effort. They complemented one another talent-wise. They both were exceptional musicians, writers, singer-songwriters. And so when the tables turned and Jim and Maury were heard by the same producers that Jim had used originally and who then took on Maury, and then they heard the two of them together, they said, this is gold. We've got to get them up here. So when they started traveling around, they made an album. They recorded the first of Jim's ABC records in October of 1971. And even with recording that, no record company would sign them. And so nobody had ever heard of Jim, and they just were having trouble getting any attention for Jim's music. And finally, Phil Kernett, who was a lawyer, partner of the two record producers, went with a cassette tape over to a music convention over in, I think it was Switzerland, in the spring or summer of 1971. Or maybe it was 72. Anyway, I'm going to get some dates confused, but it's all right. And he got a record company in Europe, Polydor, to pay attention, and they said, we will give you the money to get this off the ground, but you have to get a stateside record company. So they tried and tried and tried. So from the time that this first album, You Don't Mess Around with Jim, by Jim Croce, was recorded up at the Hit Factory in New York City in October of 71, it took until April of 72 for them to get out on the road to promote that album. So they finally got a record deal with ABC Records out in California. And they started in Chicago at the Quiet Night, one little performance, and then their schedule just filled up from there.
And your brother, Maury, he had, I remember talking to you, and Croce was ready to give up. He was getting ready to walk away from a contract because things weren't going well, and Maury was on his way up.
Yes, yeah.
So they were literally going in opposite directions, and then it both just felt. So tell us about Maury. Tell us about your brother, because I didn't realize. I don't know what came out of the filtration plant over there, but I don't know that. I didn't realize that area of Trenton. I know everybody that you live near you or within blocks of you.
Yeah.
I know who they are, but I didn't realize that's where they all grew up.
Yeah. Everybody, all the young guys, what we did was everybody listened to the radio. and all the Philly stations and the New York stations. And TV was, becoming a big thing, and you could get to see the Beatles on TV and Elvis Presley. And so all the kids wanted to play music. And you could go downtown in Trenton to the 5 and 10s, Woolworths and Kresge's, and listen to in little listening booths or right out on a table. You could pick any record and play it on a little turntable and decide if you really were interested enough to want to buy it. And so that's where a lot of kids listened to their music. And then they all went and got instruments. Almost everybody probably had a piano at home, but the kids all wanted to go buy guitars and hang out and sing and make harmony. And so, there was someone who we went to grammar school with, Chris Holmes, who lived around the block from us, and he became Alexander Rabbit, and then eventually Duke Williams and the Extremes. His next door neighbor was T.J. Tyndall, who saw some fame in traveling around with Linda Ronstadt. Was it Linda Ronstadt? I think it was.
I believe so.
And then there were a couple guys who lived about a mile from us down up the river. But they moved up the street. There were a couple girls who moved into a house that they rented, and all these guys went and said, we need a room too. So a bunch of them started living in this house up about a block from our home on South Hermitage Avenue. They moved in on North Hermitage Avenue. And so Lon and Derek Van Eaton moved from Columbia Avenue, where they grew up, and moved in up there. Frank Stallone, I don't know where he lived before he came to the Trenton area, but this guy Frank Stallone came and moved in there, and I think they only managed to rent that house for about a year. And Frank Stallone didn't want to. He wanted to stay in the area. It was near New York, where his brother was living at the time. Yeah. Actually, Maury came home and said, "This guy Frank Stallone has a brother named Michael who's living in New York." And I don't know if people know that his brother was named Michael, but he said his brother Michael is going to be somebody really famous someday. He's
Sylvester?
Yeah, and it was
His name
Sylvester
Michael?
Stallone. And so,
So
we thought, oh, well, that's good. Whoever he is, we hope he makes it someday. We had no idea at the time who he was.
That's great.
So, but Frank stayed. When they all moved out of that house, Frank moved into an apartment just a couple doors down from where that house was. But Lon and Derek Van Eaton went over to London. They got a contract with Apple Records.
Apple Records.
And they worked with George Harrison and Ringo Starr. So so many things were happening with, all these young guys. And in that house also was a guy, I think it was, would it be Bill Ring maybe? I don't know. There was someone who wanted to be... he was managing Lon and Derek Van Eaton, and he wanted to be Maury's manager. Okay. And Maury said, "Oh, I just signed a contract with Capitol Records and with a music company up in New York called Blending Well." Okay. So he had a recording contract and a singer-songwriter contract, and they immediately got him connected with Capitol. It didn't take any time at all. Capitol was very happy to have this young artist who wrote all his own words and music and sang and played guitar beautifully, and they just said, yeah, sign him up.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, and then, of course, Frank Stallone wound up being in that very first Rocky movie.
Yes.
Right? With Valentine singing on the street corner in Philly. And
they used to sing on the street corner right up the street. I remember where they hung out in front of Bensel's card shop. There was a telephone booth, like a Superman telephone booth, right there. And it was kind of a little open space, not your typical street corner. There was a little more room. And the guys used to hang out up there. And it was great to listen to them just, sing harmony. No, I don't even think they had... It was all a cappella,
Right.
And that's how they started. And I think that scene was somewhat recreated in the Rocky film with them singing on a street corner.
Yeah, on the street corner, yeah.
So that's how it really was. That's how they got their start. So, when Maury got this, the solo album, he recorded this at the Hit Factory in New York City. And he started getting gigs that they were finding him places to sing in New York and Philadelphia. In New York, he sang at the bitter end. He opened for Janis Ian. In Philadelphia, he opened for Jimmy Webb. Jimmy Webb, that's big time.
Yeah.
At the what was the one? The Main Point.
Oh, okay.
In Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So those were the two big venues that you wanted to get into
Back then.
Yeah. And so that was a big deal. And so
Now, when Maury began this path and he got signed to Capitol Records, did the Trenton Times, did people start driving by your house and be like, that's where Maury lived?
Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody knew where we lived anyway because there were 8 of us kids. So, like, everybody knew where the Muehleisens lived. And there was always music coming out of the house because he played classical piano. And we had no air conditioning. So,
Right.
as soon as it was nice out, the windows were open. And so mostly people knew from the classical music that they could hear coming out of every window. If you were around the corner, you heard it, and out the front. And everybody walked everywhere back then. So it wasn't like it is now when people are closed up in their homes. And, we were very proud of him. He played at, music festivals in high school and talent shows at the high school. It was.
Oh, where did you go to high school? Did you go to Trenton High? Or
No, we went to St. Mary's Cathedral
St.
High
Mary's?
School in
Okay.
Trenton. Yeah, we went to Blessed Sacrament up the street from where we lived.
Yeah.
And then we went downtown Trenton. And so, he was a year older than me, so we already knew all the kids who went to Blessed Sacrament, who went to Cathedral, so we were feeling well at home down there. And then Maury was there a year ahead of me, and he had met a ton of people. And so his friends, a lot of them had sisters or brothers who ended up being in my class, so we knew a lot of the same people. And so your circle just grew, and everybody knew Maury. He'd play in those music festivals, and there were a couple other people who played in the music festival in the pit too, but Maury became pretty well known. And then when he bought his guitar in high school, and I think I told you the other day, he saved his paperboy money from the Trenton Times paper route, and he ran downtown and bought a Silvertone classic guitar for $49.95 and a songbook for $3, and came home and just immediately started teaching himself how to play guitar. But with his background in classical music, I think it came pretty easily to him. I mean, I know it did because I heard what he did in no time at all. He was writing his own songs, and it was amazing because we had our piano in the living room, and he would come down and work something out on the piano and then take the stairs 2 or 3 at a time, run up. His bedroom was at the top of the stairs, and he'd go in and he'd play something and write something. And the other thing about him that was so it made it so evident that he was talented. A song would just come into his head in minutes, and he wouldn't fuss with it. He would just sit and he would write it out, and he had the music and the words in his head. He never took, I would say, probably more than a half an hour ever. It was like stories and music just came to him. And he never said, "Oh, I can't figure out how to finish this song." No, it was just instantaneous, and he just wrote and played and.
But do you know what I find? I'm going to be a wise guy here for a minute, Mayor. You said he would play at the piano, then run up the stairs. Why didn't he just bring the guitar down with him? Or take the piano up? I don't know.
That's funny. I never thought of that. Well, I will have to say, there were 8 children plus mom and dad and whatever neighborhood kids were coming in and out because the door was always open. And so there was less privacy. Everybody was so used to hearing the piano. And then the TV was right there. I mean, 3 feet from
That
the piano.
explains it then.
And so
Okay.
he could do that, and we could watch TV shows, and it was like now everybody would want peace and quiet, but Maury was just like, no, I'm going to just play this, and I'm going to go upstairs to my room. And
Nice.
he had a nice little desk there, and he would sing by candlelight. He had, I still have mine. We had the raffia covered Chianti wine bottles, and you burned a candle in it, and all. You'd use a different candle every time.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I had one. I used mine for meditation, but Maury would, light his candle and sit there and write all the words down, and he never had to erase or anything. He just write the story of the song out, and just he would wake up in the middle of the night
And you have some of them handwritten lyrics, right?
Yep. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Nice. Why don't we do some music before it gets away from? What would you like to do? Would you
Well-
like to do one of Maury's?
I guess we could start with Maury since we're mostly talking about him. We played on your other show on Sunday a song I heard, and I have no time. Let's see.
While you're deciding that,
Yeah.
just going to let everybody know once again, I have Mary Muehlleisen and her husband Ray here in studio. Mary was Maury's sister. Maury Muehlleisen, of course, was Jim Croce's sidekick and vice versa. And it's really funny once Mary tells me what tune we're going to play. It's when I first heard that what was that song we played last week?
A song I heard?
A song I heard?
Yeah.
The first one. I thought, oh my gosh, that's where Croce got his sound. I mean, it's just, and then the two of them, their styles were so similar. I see why they meshed so well.
Yeah.
So which one did you...
Well, because of all the weather that we've been having lately, and one of my favorites is Wintry Morning, which is the third song on the first side of his album.
Okay.
And what it always makes me remember is he had the middle bedroom, the back window looked out at our backyard. And I remember so many wintry mornings where it just, the colors of
Right.
the snow and the light and the shadows, I'm sure he was looking out that window when he wrote this.
Which number is that?
Number 3, Wintry Morning.
You have that, Claire?
I see it. I'm not sure I can click on it, but
Okay.
we will find out.
Wintry morning, you still have birds to sing. Weave me a silver song and send it on the way to Joanne. Wintry morning, I couldn't guess at all your riches and splendor. I haven't anything to send her or take her. Tell her in a song that this day belongs to her. Run along and wait,
Just puts you in a mood. It just takes you right back to Hermitage Avenue.
Were you all musical?
We used to sing around the piano, especially when relatives would come over or if somebody died.
The Irish.
After the wake, everybody would come back to the house, or after the funeral the next day, and there'd be, my Aunt Mary was a big piano player. Maury then, of course, started, but played all kinds of tunes. There was a lot of Cole Porter. My parents, they were born in 1918, so their music was from the 30s and 40s and
Right.
stuff. So a lot of nice classic songs. And we'd be singing and having a good old time. And Aunt Mary could really, bang out a tune. And the next day, the neighbors would say, "What were you celebrating?" And we'd say, "Aunt Mamie died." They'd say, "Oh, isn't that lovely?"
So with that album that we just heard, so it's off of something called Gingerbread, right? So the
Yes.
name of it is. But why does there 2 Ds?
If anybody ever gets a chance to look at the album cover, and I was able to put the album out in CD form several years ago, and on the front cover is Maury, on the right hand side, and then the person who did all the artwork for the album cover is sitting there. People think that's Jim Croce, but this is really an artist, a folk artist, very famous, named Henry Glassy, and that was his wife. I don't know if he got permission from her to let her be in her little nudie picture there, but that's his first wife, Betty Jo. And they're looking at what is a gingerbread
Now I'm
world.
going to have to go home and definitely look at that CD one more time. Madison, there's nakedness on this album here.
But on the back of the album, there are 2 gentlemen over here in the left lower corner. And one of them is named Henry Glassy, who was kind of a sea shanty singer-songwriter. There's a little bit of a connection to him with Bob Dylan, too. I think he kind of liked Bob Dylan, had a little crush on him. But anyway, and this guy is Blaze. It's okay. We live in a different world, and it was different back then. We just didn't talk about it. And then this is a friend named Blaze Pilla. And this Paul Clayton, the little guy with the beard here, it was a good friend with Maury's manager, Joe Salviolo, the gentleman I talked about in your other show, who was the professor at Glassboro, who introduced Maury to Tommy West and then to Terry Cashman, that got this album going. So Paul Clayton knew Henry Glassy, the artist, knew Joe Salviolo, and Paul Clayton, unfortunately, took his own life before Maury ever came along, but these guys loved him, and they loved the music that he made. If you look him up, he was kind of prolific, but he kind of went off the deep end, just trying to be maybe overly creative. I don't even know how to explain what happened, but he was the one who created this gingerbread world. He wanted everybody to live in a place where it was beautiful, and people, whether you had 2 or 3 people sitting and listening to music, or you had a huge room or a stadium full of people, that everybody would get that same vibe of peace and love and the whole, 1960s, 1970s vibe. And so gingerbread was his world, this guy Paul Clayton. Paul Clayton Worthington, but he mostly went by Paul Clayton.
I'm laughing because, you said that he wanted everybody to live in this world. Yeah. Now stick with me, Ray.
But he didn't.
On this, right?
He didn't.
You want everybody to live in this world, right, where you could just adapt or change, or everybody. And I'm thinking, live in a world where you want to remodel your house, you just eat your way through one wall, put up another one. Gingerbread,
right? And gingerbread was. I think it also had a little something to do with, there was a lady named Jeanette, I'm trying to remember her last name, but she was very big at I think she was the one who was affiliated with the Main Point in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And she made gingerbread. They would serve, some things at their little club. And he wrote a song, this Paul Clayton did, about the gingerbread lady. And I think that was about Jeanette. And when he wrote about it, he put an extra D on the end of everything. An extra letter.
Oh.
It could be lady, had 2 Y's.
Oh.
And he wanted it
Like
to
his
be
signature,
just something
like
extra
E.E.
special.
Cummings being-
I guess, yeah, it could be like that. And he put an extra letter on a lot of his words. So gingerbread had an extra D, and gingerbread lady who lived on Gingerbread Street or something like that. And I forget all the words. But they wanted that extra D on there kind of as a tribute to their friend Paul Clayton. I mean, really, if you look him up, he had an interesting life. Somebody wrote a book about him, and it's a very good book. So he was gone, and they wanted Maury to maybe have this same kind of world that Paul wanted. Because of Maury's music. Maury's songs they weren't rock and roll. They weren't 100% folk. You know, it was kind of an eclectic sound. And so they felt like he embodied Paul. So that's why. And the album cover is this guy made this world. And there's all kinds of stuff in here. Joe Salviolo's initials are in the vines, and everything means something in here. This little seal on the back is a seal of approval. And
We need one of
You gotta
that.
have one of those.
I mean, there's too many things for me to even tell you about all the little things that are in here.
Well, you struck me funny with something you just said there about it's one rock and roll, but it wasn't folk.
Right.
And when we were sitting talking about the Jim Croce tunes, and when the first one you picked, that's not really rock and roll, but it's not really folk either. It's kind of in between.
Right.
And why don't we pull that one up,
Which one?
Claire? The
Working at the Car Wash Blues.
I got it already.
They were so different. People want them in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but they weren't really rock and roll either. And
neither's the
I always
Wu-Tang
say-
Clan, but they're up for nomination. this
I
year,
say
so.
they're in my Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They're in my Music Hall of
Which
Fame.
you have a website pretty much dedicated to
Yes,
preserving Maury's
I do.
memory,
It's
right?
it's
And the whole-
MauryMuehleisen.com. MUEHLEISEN.
Right.
So Maury taught me how to spell that before I left for kindergarten. he was going to be a big old first grader, so he said every third letter is an E. Say MUEHLEISEN. So I said, okay. Well, it took me all summer, but I got it down.
And what is that website?
MauryMuehleisen.com.
Well, there you go. All right. Well, here's Maury with Jim Croce. Now I have to take a deep breath because when I'll never forget when CD players first came out back in the dark ages of the 80s. The first CD I ever owned was Steve Winwood, Back in the High Life. The second CD I ever owned was, well, I didn't own it. It was a gift I gave to my ex-wife, which was Jim Croce's Greatest Hits. Wow. Okay.
Photographs and memories.
And she would, well, actually, in my wedding video, it was the song that takes you out of the video was Time in a Bottle. But the
But you spent a lot of time
but
in the bottle.
one of her, yeah, she was always out of the bottle. One of the and I was always on the bottle. One of the favorite, one of my ex-wife's favorite tunes was Working at the Car Wash Blues, Roller Derby's Queen,
Yeah.
and
What's the other one?
Rapid Roy, that
Rapid
stock car boy.
Roy.
You
Rapid
know?
Roy, that stock car boy. Yeah.
So here's Working at the Car Wash Blues by Jim Croce with Maury Muehleisen on guitar as well.
Well, I had just got out from the county prison doing 90 days for non-support. Tried to find me an executive position, but no matter how smooth I talk, they wouldn't listen to the fact that I was a genius. The man said we got all that we can use. Now I got them taking some trash to the secretary, saying, hey now, mama, come on over here. Must let them stuck here, rub on these fenders with a rag, and walking home in soggy old shoes. With them steadily depressing, low down mind messing, working at the car wash blues. You know a man of my ability, he should be smoking on a big cigar. But till I get myself straight, I guess I'll just have to wait in my rubber suit, rubbing these cars. Well, all I can do is to shake my head. You might not believe it is true, but working at this end on Niagara Falls is a undiscovered Howard Hughes. So baby, don't expect to see me with no double martini and in my highbrow society news. Cause I got them steadily depressing, low down mind messing, working at the car wash blues. To see me with no double martini and in my highbrow society news. Cause I got them steadily depressing, low down mind messing, working at the car wash blues. Yeah, I got them steadily depressing, low down mind messing, working at the car wash blues.
Jim Croce here on Rock On Radio with MAURY MUEHLEISEN.
Actually, I was just listening to one of my favorite podcasters, and he's Baron Coleman, so his show, and someone asked him, "Who is your all-time favorite singer?" Musician, and he said Jim Croce.
Many people.
I mean, if you think about it, that's amazing. I mean, he's 46 or whatever. I mean, like that reaches everybody, and it's so applicable to everybody.
There are so many from the younger generation
Yeah,
and
they're
younger.
connected, yeah.
There's a guy who's going to do a Jim Croce tribute show down at McLuhan's
Ooh.
coming up.
Who's
pretty
that?
Soon. What's his name? Joshua.
Is he does he do all Jim Croce's music?
He's doing a whole tribute
Oh, nice.
He's doing a whole tribute show. If I had my cell phone, I could tell you his name. I'm trying
Go
to
ahead, you do that. I'm going to interrogate Ray. So, Ray, what's that like for you? Now, I mean, Mary has made this her life's mission, pretty much, or so she told me.
Yep.
To preserve this memory.
Yeah.
Is that a positive or a negative in
To me, it's
Ray's?
I mean, I grew up, from freshman in high school. I dated Mary, and I would go to her house quite a bit. And her family was they played games together, charades and all that. And I was very shy. And they would all get in there and just say, "Oh, come on, you have to play." And it was difficult, but and then there was Maury on the piano a lot of times, or playing a harmonica, playing the guitar, and a couple years later, Jim came around, and it was almost an unreal world, because who could be on the radio? Back then, you listened to the radio. And I remember the first time that we heard Jim's song, we were going to Florida. We were going to go camping down in Florida, and all of a sudden, somewhere around South Carolina, we had the radio on, and one of Jim's songs came on the radio, and we said, "Oh my God, is this real?"
That's wild.
That's a very surreal feeling, and when it's like, "Holy cow, that's me," or that's in that case, that's Maury.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been to Nashville and gone to the bars and listened to the people sing at the bars, and we say, "Man, these people are talented." But for you to go from that talent to be successful, like Maury was and Jim was, there's thousands of super talented people that never make it in their lives.
Right.
And when you look at Trenton, and all the stars that were out there. There was a lot of talent out there, but a lot of them they're still playing locally if they're still around, or in different gigs around the state and all that.
Yeah,
But
like we just went to see Ernie White
right,
a couple nights
Wow.
ago. He was at Rossi's.
Oh,
So
okay.
Yeah,
there is
he's
still
there every Thursday,
There is
yeah.
still live music out there from these guys who were in the film. Listen up. Yeah, it's great. And Ray became like a brother. You know, there were 5 boys already in the family and 3 girls. So what was one more? You know, so you know, Ray kind of melded in. Like he said, it was a little hard because we were there.
lot.
You know, we were a lot. And so you know, Ray kind of shyly made his way in, but. Just days before, so that was early on in meeting Maury. But then
Yeah.
the last time that you saw him, do you remember?
Yep, the last time I saw Maury was at the farmhouse playing quates, and there was a picnic, and the family, we all had a good time there.
Yeah, Maury and Jim had just finished recording the last song for the third of Jim's 3-record deal with ABC Records, and they finished on Friday, September 14th. And Maury said he was going to go to his girlfriend Judy's house, which was in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. And he said, we're going to have a picnic because I'm going to go on a 5-week tour with Jim on Tuesday. So he said, on Sunday, if you could all come. And I was 6.5 months pregnant. And Mom and Dad put the boys in the car, and everybody just, I'm looking at my husband. Everybody just piled in, and we probably took 2 or 3 cars and drove out there. So it was just Mom and Dad, my brothers and sisters and I, and Ray, and Maury and Judy had 3 children from a previous marriage. And we had picnic food and sat on blankets out in the yard, and there was a swing, and the boys went for a hike in the woods, and Ray and Maury played quates, and we have a 3.5-minute home movie of it because Judy had
nice.
borrowed a camera, you know, big. That was just
Yeah, that
becoming
was,
a
yeah.
thing, and so she had a
Right.
little Super 8 home
Movie
video
camera,
and so
yeah.
we have that last day of our lives, 3 minutes and 18 seconds, our last time together with Maury. And little did we know. And he was just a regular guy, you know. He was just my brother. And he was pointing up to planes and saying, oh, that's a, you know, whatever kind of airplanes they had back then, 747 or something, and that's a this. And he knew what kind of jets they were. Planes were flying over all the time because it wasn't that far outside of Philly.
Right.
And he and Jim said, you know, they wanted to learn how to fly planes or fly helicopters someday. And, you know, they said, you know, we get on these planes and sometimes it's a little white knuckle kind of situation. They didn't even start taking planes until probably around March of 1973, when they were going all over the country, and it just became more convenient for them to go to some of the smaller towns, the colleges, by getting on the smaller planes. And there were a couple scary moments, you know, and you had to trust people that you didn't know because they were getting small charter planes to take them places. So, but they loved the idea of that maybe someday they could just, the convenience of taking themselves instead of, you know, getting to an airport, and the way guitars weren't always treated so well by airport handlers, you know, baggage handlers.
Right.
And so they thought, well, and that's why Maury, he would, he had his 2 Martins, and that's what he used most of the time, but then they finally got Ovations. And he thought, even though he loved playing his Martins all the time, when he got the Ovations, it was easier for him to take them on the planes because they were sturdier.
Right.
But he only used Martins when he was recording albums. He always used his 2 Martin guitars.
And then, of course, unfortunately, Maury and Jim passed away in a plane
A week
crash.
later, yeah.
Yeah, well, only, less than a week after. Well, we saw them on, they finished recording on September 14th. We were together with them on Sunday the 16th, which was Joe Salviolo's birthday, and we called him, and we all sang happy birthday to him, and it was such a special time. And Jim called, and he said, I'll be coming back east. He had gone to Los Angeles for the weekend, and he said, I'll be coming back east, and on Monday, and we'll leave on Tuesday to go on a 5-week tour of colleges. And so they had a show on Tuesday, show on Wednesday, and then the Thursday show was in Natchitoches, Louisiana at Northwestern State University. And it was a pilot, who had just been brought in for those couple shows. And it was late at night, a very small airport, and it was dark, and they left that night. A lot of people think that they should have stayed overnight and that they had planned to and that it was all last minute. I don't think it was, because I've read interviews that they did, and he said, we're leaving right after the show tonight. And I spoke to someone. I had interviewed a lot of people. I wrote a book. It's way too long because you can tell I like to talk. I also like to write. And it's
Ray,
very,
you want to
very
verify that, Ray?
Oh,
He
definitely.
verified
definitely.
it's probably way too long. It's single space, 400 pages. And, I can't figure out what to not say because I love to tell everything about Maury and Jim. I love them so much. And so what was I going to say?
You wrote a book.
Yeah, I wrote a book.
about what you interviewed the people that
so
were
I
in the
plane
interviewed,
crash,
I
yeah.
interviewed a lot of people. I actually went down to Natchitoches at the time of the 30th anniversary because I had always wanted to go see where Maury left this world. And I did, and my sister Ann came with me. And we met people, and we went to the airport, and I did feel, I really did feel something like, I feel him around me all the time. There's no doubt about that. But anyway, it was very special to go there. And I interviewed someone who said they didn't even take their bags off the airplane. So I don't feel that they had any intention of staying overnight. These were small colleges, and this
Right.
was a really small town, Natchitoches, Louisiana. That's where Steel Magnolias was filmed. So if you remember anything about how they portrayed that small town feel, I think they were just ready to get on to the next spot. So they were leaving to fly. The pilot was from Dallas, and I'm not sure if they were going to fly to Dallas or go to the Sherman, Texas, where the next school was. The next act was going to be that next night. I think he was going to fly them there, and then he was probably going to fly back to Dallas. But yeah, so they took off. People said, why didn't they just drive? It was just over in Texas. But it would have been hundreds of miles, and it that would have been more tiring than just hopping on that plane. And just like the Buddy Holly thing, somebody at the last minute, the comedian who had flown in to Shreveport to be with them that night in Natchitoches, he was going to go back to Shreveport and meet them at the next gig. But they said there's room on the plane. And so that comedian got on the plane with them. So,
Oh, I didn't realize there was
Yeah.
a third person on
yep.
that flight.
It was Maury and
Fourth
Jim,
person.
the pilot, Jim's road manager, and the booking agent,
Oh, so they were all on that flight.
and they were all,
Okay.
and then the comedian, and so yeah, and here and then gone.
Yeah.
It was a very, very sad
Which-
time.
Yeah, which is, and speaking of things like this, I talked to Jake Thistle, who I believe made it through the second round.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
of
top 30
American
now.
Idol.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
Jake, Jake appreciates, and a lot of people don't appreciate the opportunities put in
Yeah.
front of them. And here, Maury and Jim, who met going in opposite directions,
Yeah.
came back to meet in the middle and create some of the most incredible music that has one of the things that I often rail against, Mayor, and is that the music that's been put out pretty much over the last 10, 15 years, there is nothing that is going to stand the test of time.
Yeah.
And I mean that because there is no Time in a Bottle. There is no, Led Zeppelin or Rolling Stones or. I just talked to Malcolm Bruce yesterday. Cream, he Jack Bruce's son. So there's nothing that really has any kind of staying power.
Yeah.
And if you listen to a lot of new artists today, especially the women, they all sound the same. And the men, there was a period where they all wanted to sound like either Jack Johnson or Jason Mraz, and it's like there's no originality left.
Right. And what made Jim's songs so original, especially the love songs and the heartbreak songs, were they came straight from his heart. He had all those feelings.
Right.
I mean, I love all three albums, but a lot of times I say that the second one, Life and Times, it really was his life and times. He looked so sad there, and he was having a hard time. It's hard to keep your marriage going.
Right.
He was a really good man, and he wanted it to all be good, but he was away from home a lot, and it was hard.
His wife was Ingrid,
Ingrid,
right? Was Croce's wife was Ingrid?
Yes, Ingrid.
How old were both of them?
When we met Jim, he was 27. Maury was 24, I was 23, and then when they died, Jim was 30, Maury was 24, I was 23, and it was
So he was 24 when he died?
24. Yeah, Maury was, and Jim had lived more life and had more life experiences.
Right.
Yeah,
You said you met Croce when he was 27,
27.
and he died at 30,
Yeah,
and he was how much older than?
6 years older than Maury.
Oh, he was 6 years older than
Yeah.
Maury. Okay.
Yeah.
So Maury met him when he was like 21.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. It was 1969, 2021. Yeah. I think they had been introduced very quickly, but it was when Maury's album was done in 1970. So Maury was 21 in 1970. It all happened like,
If you're just tuning in, I have Mary Muehleisen here, and she is the sister of Maury Muehleisen, who was Jim Croce's cohort, co-writer, co-performer,
collaborator.
co-conspirator, and who is directly responsible for many of the Jim Croce songs that the guitar work on many of the songs just about all of the songs that you have ever heard by Jim Croce.
Did he do backup singing too?
Yeah, he's harmony all over
Gotcha.
the place on these.
All right, well, let's
Yeah.
do some more music. Which would you like to play?
Did you? We had talked about. I don't know how much time you have because I could stay here all night. I like 5 Short Minutes. I don't know what you've got up. Is that on any?
Which
of them?
one? Who are we talking about?
5 Short Minutes is on.
Jim Croce,
the
I Got a Name?
Well, whatever. What did we say before?
Doesn't matter. We can,
Okay, 5 Short Minutes.
okay. Well, why is it that you like this one so
Well,
much?
it's kind of a cute little ditty. Jim wrote this, and people think that it really happened to him. Maury and Jim didn't have like tons of groupies. They were not rock stars. When people went to their shows, it was moms and dads and teenagers and college kids, and even little kids. But they did not have girls coming and knocking on the door. But Jim tells a story along with this on the internet. You can see him saying, how guys have, girls come to the room and say, can I, spend some time with you kind of thing. He had a way of telling stories, but, some things were made up, some things were real. People think that this was a real story. It was real in that he read about these girls who would go backstage and meet rock stars and want to do something, cast them in plaster, a special body part. And so This song was something these girls, he read about them in a magazine, and he turned it into a song as if, it happened to him, but it didn't.
There you
So
go.
there's
and
the
it's, and
truth.
it's called
5 short minutes.
But she was standing by my dressing room after the show, asked me for my autograph and asked if she could go back to my motel room. But the rest is just a tragic tale, because 5 short minutes of love done brought me 20 long years in jail. Felt like a fool in a hurry. I took her to my room. She casted me in plaster while I sang her a tune. And I said, ooh, joy is a tragic tale, because 5 short minutes of love done brought me 20 long years in jail. Well, then the judge and the jury sat me in a room and said that rob on the cradle is worse than rob on the tomb. And I said, ooh, joy is a tragic tale. Wasn't worth it, because 5 short minutes of love done brought me 20 long years in jail. Well, when I get out of this prison, call me 45. I know I used to like to do it, but I won't remember why. And I said, ooh, joy is a tragic tale. Wasn't worth it, because 5 short minutes of love done brought me 20 long years in jail. Because 5 short minutes of love done brought me 20 long years in jail.
Now we're all going to behave.
no. I
Why would we start now?
Oh gosh, I wish we were on the air. That's when she told that story. I'll tell you what. There may. Okay. Woo.
You turned purple with that.
So there was all I'm going to tell you people that are listening is there was a master caster plaster involved.
And then another master other person.
Who worked for a dentist and was responsible for cast preparation. That's all I'm going to say.
That's more than enough. I will tell you one other little tidbit. Now, this is a good one. About 5
What
short.
was the last one?
This is a sweet, innocent one. That when this album came out, when Maury and Jim died that September 20th, and we all learned about it on the 21st. Within a couple days, and they were brought back to New Jersey and Philadelphia, and we went first to a funeral for Jim, a memorial, at a gravesite in Pennsylvania, in Fraser, Pennsylvania, where Jim is interred. I've been there several times to say hello and pay some respects. And then we came home that very day and went directly to the funeral home in Trenton where Maury's wake was. And we had all of these, Maury's album and Jim's first 2 albums played the whole time. And I had asked the funeral director when we went for the funeral planning, and he said, "Oh no, we don't play music at funerals." But when we showed up, he had brought his stereo system from home. He was a family friend, and he played all 3 of those albums. This one had not come out yet. The I Got a Name album had not come out.
Where was Maury laid out?
At Murphy's funeral
Oh,
home
Murphy?
in downtown Trenton.
Yep.
Because, well, what was so surreal about it, too, was that we had gone to high school, Ray and Maury and myself and, my older sister and my younger sister had all gone to Cathedral High School, which, we changed classes. And while we were changing classes during high school, there would be funeral things going on right in the parking lot behind the building where we walked in and out, because we changed classes in all these different buildings.
Now, I'm going to tell you, Ray, since we've known each other now for a month or whatever, it's been all these serendipitous events, right?
Yeah.
My grandfather knew Murphy. So both of my grandparents and my uncle, they were laid out at Murphy. He's down on Hamilton Avenue now, across from Greenwood Cemetery.
Right.
But with my parents in the situation I'm dealing with, that's who will probably be handling my mother and then eventually my father. And that's funny that it was right behind.
It was Murphy's. And, to just have only a few years prior to that, to Maury's wake, we had been changing classes in that very
school,
that very spot, going in and out of that little back parking lot behind Murphy's. And so that's where it was. And I think it was supposed to be maybe 3 hours, and I think it was 4 or 5 hours because the line was so long for people wanting to come in. And then the next day was Maury's funeral mass up at Blessed Sacrament on Bellevue Avenue in Trenton.
Right.
And his funeral procession was so long that flowers fell off the flower truck down by the State House where the planetarium was.
Yeah.
Right about there, and they had to stop that. And people up on, we left Blessed Sacrament and went out to Cadwalder Park and down Parkside Avenue. And people on Parkside Avenue said, "What was the holdup? You know where Parkside is compared to all the way down,
Right.
To get to go all the way out to St. Mary's Cemetery in Hamilton."
Is that where
But
he's buried?
That's where he's buried. But
It's where my grandparents are buried.
we have so many connections. We'll have to go for a walk sometime. And so, by the time that funeral car got to by the State House, we were, that's a bit of a ride.
Yeah.
And people on Parkside Avenue were saying, "What was the holdup? Why, the cars weren't moving at all." And we said we had to stop to get the flowers back on the flower cart.
Yeah.
So that's how long it was. Jim's memorial, people still didn't really know him. He wasn't a big name, and so his funeral thing was, at the cemetery, Memorial Park in Fraser, Pennsylvania, was relatively small. I don't know if there were even 50 people there, but the big executives from Capitol Records came out, and it was lovely and quiet, and I can see myself there even when I go back now. And Maury's was very special. But to get back to 5 Short Minutes, this album we had a birthday party a couple days after the funerals for AJ, who we called Adrian James at the time, and he turned 2 just days after the funerals. And so this third album came out in December. So by now he was, 2 years and a couple months. And apparently he was listening to this all the time, and I met someone who went out and visited them, and they must have been playing, Ingrid must have been playing this album over and over again. And little toddling around Adrian James, and I don't know if he even remembers this, but this visitor said that he would walk around saying, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes.
Well, he's touring now.
And he's touring now.
And he's
so,
playing his dad's
this
songs?
is probably one of the first of his father's songs that he really was enamored by.
Well,
But
that's a
yes.
heck of a lot better than Plastercaster.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we won't tell him about that.
No.
So, who got in touch with you about the film? Listen up, Trenton Makes Music.
Art Varga.
Okay, so it was
Art
Art.
Varga. Somebody, I'm sure it was Tommy Kay who told him, to give me a call. And I was pleasantly surprised. I had no idea what this was about. And he I think he sent me an email. Tommy must have given him my email. And he just said, what his name was and that he was from, a filmmaker from Lambertville, New Jersey. And he was putting together something about Trenton musicians. So, of course, then I thought, okay, he wants to talk about Maury. And then I realized it was about all these guys, which was great. I was happy for any mention of Maury. And I got to his house, and I was all ready to tell him about the street corner singing and everybody living up the street and around the block and down by the river. And he said, "Can I ask you a couple questions about your brother first?" And he said, and I said, "Sure. I love talking about Maury." And 2 hours later, he said, "Let's take a little break. You can have a glass of water." And I said, "Okay." And I said, "When are you going to talk to me about the Trenton musicians?" So we did finally get a couple words in. But when I saw the film, he said, "I didn't put you in much." And I said, "Oh, my gosh, you did." And it was very, much appreciated. And I loved hearing about all the Trenton musicians again, too. And there were a lot that I didn't know.
Yeah.
And a lot of what happened in Trenton with, City Gardens and Randy Now, Randy Ellis, who is Randy Now, who has the man cave in Heightstown. A
Todd's
lot
brother.
of that stuff, a lot of that stuff happened after Maury.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But I
Yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
remember, I think we went to Brothers on
Brother
Quaker
Saloon.
Ridge Road, and they had the dance floor, the psychedelic dance floor. I don't think it was. There was probably something underneath that, but there were lights, and it was all these psychedelic squares of different colors. Did you go there?
Dollar Picture Night, you could find me there quite a lot.
So
I doubt you cared about the dance floor.
we weren't really into dancing, but and we had little kids. So if we had a babysitter, it was right around the block because we lived in Mercerville. So
Oh, okay.
it was right around the block, and we went there and listened to music. But that we didn't have too many times with a lot of those guys that were affiliated with City Gardens. I never went there, but
I
It
played
was-
City Gardens once
really,
when it, 82, 83, something like that. I did a gig one night there.
Yeah.
And it's odd because on my way home from visiting my mother today, I stopped at the Acme in Yardville
okay.
to pick up some stuff because chili contest March 1st in Woodbridge.
Oh, back to the J.J. Biddings place?
Yeah, that's not there anymore.
Right, but that same location.
Right. So I wanted to buy something. So as I back in, I'm on the phone with my sister, and there's this gentleman next door putting groceries in the back of his car. And he's looking at me, and then he puts groceries in, and he's looking in my windshield, and he puts groceries in. And I got a good look at his face, and it was my friend Mark, who was the keyboard player in the band that I played City Gardens with.
Wow.
Oh my God.
And one of the gentlemen I talked with Frank about, when I first met Frank Pinto, I was 18 years old.
Oh wow.
So Frank was maybe 22, 23, something like that. And Frank and I, that band I was in with that keyboard player I saw today, Frank and I used to play the same circuits. The Manor Hotel on Whitehead Road, I'm sure Frank probably played City Gardens.
I'm sure.
But the Windsor Manor out on Route 130, Billy D's and gosh, where else?
Wasn't there Woodside? Did they do stuff at
The Woodside Inn back
Yeah.
in the day.
Satellite,
Yep, the Satellite Inn, yeah.
Widow's Watch.
The Widow's Watch on South Broad and Liberty, yep. At the Treasure Chest used to have bands. They would have dancers until 9 o'clock, and then the band would start, and then in between, when we would go on break, the dancers would come back up. I mean, that's the way the Trenton scene.
It was vibrant.
Like Jerry Monk said in the trailer, on this corner there was a great band, on that corner you could have a bar on four corners, and every single one of those places would be packed, and every single one would be with a great band.
Yeah.
And Jerry was in a lot of them.
Which people should try to get to see any of these, the places where this Listen Up, Trenton Makes music.
Right. I think the next one is next week, March 7th, at the Lambertville Elks.
At the Elks.
They're having a Trenton night. I think they're serving Trenton pizza and
Cheese pork roll sandwiches.
some pork
or
roll
something,
sandwiches,
yeah.
and tickets are only like $25.
Right. And then Starving Artist right here in Stockton.
March 15th, that's sold out now.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yep.
And
Then they have one coming up at. They haven't announced it yet.
That one's in April too. I thought-
Randy Now's
Randy Now is doing
in
it.
Hightstown
Yep.
is
Right.
going to have one
I think
in
that's
April.
a 7th.
I got tickets for
There's
that.
going to be one at Ellerslie too.
Oh, good.
So.
During the day.
No, I'm not sure of the date, but Dave announced that the other night when we were on with Trevor
That'll
Lees.
be nice.
He's
When you
always
sit
coughing.
back and when you look at a movie like that. Now, I'm blown away, and quite honestly, I was rather humbled because I was joking with Art and Frank and Tommy when they were in here to promote the January 31st premiere, and Dave was like, "None of us have seen the film." Yeah. So I was joking with Art about always winding up on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
So I figured that little bit in the trailer, that was it. And then like 30 seconds into the film is my face on the screen in a circle and my radio show, Chip Off the Old Rock.
Yeah.
And then I'm in it like another 3 or 4 or 5 times, whatever it was.
You're famous.
Yeah. But
got
I
our
did not
15
expect
minutes of
that.
fame.
That's it. I did not expect that. I figured, and I mean, I'm very grateful for it. Don't get me wrong. That my input was valued that much.
Yeah, I appreciated it too, and I could have listened to tons more stories from all of those guys.
Well, like Tommy K said, he figured this was going to be like a 6-part, 2.5 hour a night mini-series type of thing.
There has to be more.
He said that's 25 hours that Art
Yeah.
shot, and he said that Tommy's welcome to all the footage.
Yeah, I mean, it's
do whatever
more
he
of it
wants
has
with.
to get out because there wasn't enough on each of them.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen more. You
Right.
know, even at the expense of not having me in there as much. But
Well, even my band in high school was in there
oh,
twice.
one of the pictures.
At the end when they were
Yeah.
running the pictures, but during the film, that same picture was kind of thrown up there
that's
at a
nice.
point. We did Trevor Lees talked about it the other night. Dave Heffel contacted us about the Unsigned Heroes contest on WPST. And that began our relationship with WPST and my relationship with Trevor Lees and Tom Cunningham, and that was back in 79, 80, something like that. So it's a lot of fun back then.
Yeah.
If you're just tuning in, I'm here with Mary Muehlleisen, her husband Ray. Madison, our social media maven, who needs what did she just discover about herself there,
No,
producer Claire?
I posted the munchies for Madison
Munchies for Madison. I love it.
for a contest to send her different types of candy so she can pick what's her favorite, and that would be the winner for the contest.
She does not look like she eats candy.
Right?
She's eating
so,
candy
yeah.
right now, but
It just takes one.
She reminds me of Twiggy.
I have a femur that weighs more than her.
Have you tried the Dubai chocolate?
No, I haven't. Still,
Oh,
I've been told it's very good.
It's very
You
good.
need this much of it. That's
Yeah.
it. It's so
Yeah.
good.
Melts in your mouth.
Oh man. Oh.
She needs more candy.
Oh,
No,
You said I have the munchies every week, Claire. People are gonna insinuate bad things about
No,
me.
we just
You
need
know
to
what
feed
the
you.
munchies means?
Oh, well, no.
Yeah.
You're right.
whoa.
You should put a disclaimer that no substances are involved. I just am a hungry person.
Just a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
I'm just an addict. That's
Just
what
a
it really
sugar
is.
Well,
addict.
in all honesty, she did have DoorDash delivered here one night.
Yeah.
I did.
Way out here.
Desperate times.
We're sitting here, all of a sudden she disappears. She comes in with a pizza. How did you get a pizza out here?
Oh my God.
I have my ways.
Apparently so.
When in need, you know.
Apparently
I'm a
so.
real hustler.
Well, let's do some more music before the time gets away
What do you
from us.
want to hear?
That's up to you. You want to do
Well,
Maury? You
do you
want to do
wanna
more Croce? You
Talk
want to?
about the fact that he a month before Maury and Jim died in August, Maury and Jim were touring with Loggins and Messina,
Oh, okay.
and of course, guys had a lot of laundry, or enough between the four of them: Kenny Loggins, Jim Messina, Jim Croce, Maury Muehlleisen, and they had shirts and underwear and socks, and they were going from one place to another almost daily, and Maury and Kenny were the type who cared about getting the laundry done. And so they mostly stayed in Holiday Inns along the road. And Maury and Kenny were sitting in the room one time and saying, we got to go do some laundry. And Kenny said, I have this idea for a song. I had a dream. And, here's about how it goes. And so they say, okay, well, they run down, put some quarters in the washing machine, and they threw all four of their everything that they needed done in the washing machine. And they talked along the way and got back to the room. And Maury starts with his music, and Kenny's starting with his words. And they did that for a little bit. And then they ran down, put the stuff in the dryer, put some quarters in, went back to the room. And, I don't know how they managed to have that private time, but they did. And so they wrote this song, Maury and Kenny. They called it Kenny's Dream. Initially, they did. And Maury came home and told us on that last day that we were together in September that they had done this song. And then Maury was gone. So we heard that an album was coming out by Loggins and Messina, and that Kenny was putting this song on. And I guess Maury had told his record producers. And they said, if he's putting that song on, that was co-written by Maury. So they made sure that Maury got credit for his part,
that's
and they
good.
had changed the name of the song to Fever Dream, and it just shows another side of Maury's musical talent, because it has a completely different sound from
Jim Croce.
from what he did with Jim and what he did on his own solo album.
Do you have that one? Fever Dream?
There you go.
All right. Well, here's Maury Muehlleisen with Loggins and Messina, and a song called
Fever Dream.
Stand back and see they circle, watching for signs in the sky, and we stand here unrelated, dumbfounded, frightened, fearful of the night in the early rain of in the early rains.
Welcome back to Rock On Radio.
That was Lahaina.
We have Mary Muehlleisen and Ray and Madison. Munchies for Madison.
All right, I'll change the name, but I just had to
I
think
think
of
it's
something.
funny.
Maven.
It's better than what I
Media
came up
Maven
with.
Madison and the Munchies. I was trying to think of like an M. So
I think I posted like Madison Needs Sweets. And Ray's over here tempting her with Dubai chocolate.
he may win. He may win.
I think she was tempting him with pizza.
Right? Websites and everything again, Mayor?
Website is MauryMuehlleisen.com, MUEHLEISEN. And I have a Facebook page about Maury Muehlleisen fans. And there's a Wikipedia page. Good old Wikipedia.
There you go.
I designed or helped, I had some friends help me create a Maury Muehlleisen Martin guitar D35.
Oh.
2010, I think. I did that, and I...
Is that still out there, available for purchase? Or
probably, I don't think Martin would be, hard-pressed to want to put some more out, but, ignorance is bliss, and I'm blessed with that. And I had no idea what I was doing, but I always thought, wouldn't it be nice to have a Maury Muehlleisen signature guitar? And I didn't know there was a difference between signature guitars and just making a custom guitar. Right. Anybody can, if they've got the money, can have a custom guitar made. But a signature guitar is usually for someone with a big name.
Right, it's a model that they
Right,
endorse or play or
like,
whatever, right?
Really big names. So I tried to get a signature model made, and I went to Martin, and they said, no, he's not a big enough name. He was big in my head, but not in the world's. Of course, he was Jim Croce's guitarist.
Well,
but
and part of that might be because of what you were saying, Ray, that him and Croce were just such regular guys. Had it been vice versa, and Maury became the lead name on the marquee. Right. But Croce really didn't have much of a career. I mean, he hit it, and then within 2 years, 3 years, he passed away.
It was a year and a half, 18 months. He was backing up Maury for 18 months, and then Maury was his lead for 18 months. And, a lot of people would probably say, and I think there were articles back then that said he really skyrocketed to fame because of the untimely death. And right at that time, Time in a Bottle had just come out. The week before they died, on September 12th, a movie came out called She Lives. And the theme song for it was Time in a Bottle.
Oh, that's right.
And it was about a girl who had cancer. And,
right. I vaguely
who was
remember that.
The son, Desi Arnaz, was in it.
Oh, okay.
And Susan Hubley. And so everybody heard this song in this movie of the week on TV, and they started calling the radio station. So that song was getting more play than anything. And, you know, within a week, they're gone. And then also, when this album came out, the third album came out in December, I got a name which Jim didn't even write, but he made it his own, as they say on American Idol. You made it your own. It just suited Jim's story so well. And so everybody wanted to hear everything that he did. And so he kind of, his fame came really after,
More
like I said, his
posthumously than-
funeral
yeah.
was not very big, but afterwards, everybody wanted to know. And people go to that memorial park and visit his grave and leave dimes and stones. You know, he really, he's famous, and I'm very proud of him. He deserves every bit of the adulation that he has gotten through all these years.
Now, when I was in 4th grade, I was, you know how they force you to be in the school plays, right? Your class, whatever. So my class, they did a 50s type of thing. And I remember they had songs in there like, a little darling.
Oh, yeah.
Bump. And the band's name is, I used to know that like the back of my hand. Like, but the one that I was part of was Bad Leroy Brown.
Oh,
You know, it was kind of
that
like
would have been in high school, maybe.
no. This was when I was in
70s?
4th grade. So I was like what 10. So that would have been 73.
Okay.
Right. But they did like
we just
kind
say
of
that he's a lot older than he
Oh,
is.
he was singing a song from,
Right.
earlier. That little
Just
darling.
means
that
you're
was,
younger than we think you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tell everybody I'm 80, so they think, "Wow, you look
You
great."
look great for 80.
So-
Did you sing Bad Leroy Brown? You have to leave out that one word.
well, I lip synced it.
Because he says you know that DAM word.
Right. So we had to say darn.
Yeah.
But I lip synced it in the
Oh,
in
okay.
the thing. That's what it was all about. And then, I'm in this, then I see the movie, and there you are with the gold record for Bad Leroy Brown, which you said they presented to Jim on the, was it Kirchner's Midnight Special?
Midnight Special, and Bert Sugarman came out. Now, I heard not too long ago that, I forget how it was supposed to happen, but Jim was supposed to get a gold record that night, but I don't know if that was supposed to happen afterwards or backstage. And Bert Sugarman never came out on stage at the Midnight Special. He ran everything, but he was a backstage kind of person. And Jim said, I'll accept that gold record if you come out and present it to me. And that's why Bert Sugarman is seen on film. And you can look that up on YouTube. It's, they put the full shows, the two shows that Jim was on. They're putting all their shows on, the Midnight Specials, but about a year or two ago they put those on, and it was great. And I even you could do live chat during the film, and Bert Sugarman came on when I was remarking, and he came on, and we had a little
Conversation.
talk about
Nice.
it on the chat thing, which was pretty neat. But Jim looked so proud. He was proud, and he should have been. But
As he should have been. Right.
when he got that, and he turned around, he looked at Tommy West on the piano and looked over at Maury, and it was like, oh, guys, look at us. It was never just about him. They just all knew that what they were doing was making people happy, and that's all they really ever wanted to do. Making money was nice, and of course the money, everybody knows in the record business, it doesn't come in, in buckets right off the bat. But they were doing well. They were doing fine. Maury had a salary because he was, the second person. But
Now, is there some sort of royalty structure still set up today where there's a trust fund for Jim's kids or your family or anything?
Jim only
that
has
sees-
the one son.
Right.
I am Jim Jim's wife, I think, I don't know if it's her and her son who get it or just her, but they have some kind of thing, and I'm sure there are tons of royalties that come in because our family. I'm the agent for the heirs.
Okay.
For Maury. My dad was, but there wasn't really anything for him to do. And he, got older. And he said, I keep getting all this paperwork and I don't know what to do with it. And he said, would you do this? So, we formulated a letter. And so I'm on like ASCAP and DART and all those kind of things. And so Maury does. And so then I thought, well, there's got to be something more out there. So I wrote letters and made calls and stuff. And our family gets, just a small amount for a lot of times time.
Oh, but you do get something.
There's something. Okay. So if you multiply it by, all these songs, I'm sure there's a whole lot of money somewhere.
Right. So they're still paying royalties. And,
yeah.
And he's been, that's fantastic.
We get a little something, and it's Maury had my parents, and there were 7 of us siblings. So I do my best to take care of handling all that. But Time in a Bottle does show up in movies, and I Got a Name shows up.
Yeah.
So if they use the original songs from these albums,
you guys get
there is, a little bit enough something where you can feel like you can buy yourself a present from Maury. But
Right.
I know Operator still shows up
does it
in
really?
some films here or there.
Oh.
So.
Oh, that's nice. I know Time in a Bottle has been in several, and I Got a Name. So, and there was a TV show called My Girl, I think, and there was, I think Time in a Bottle was on that.
Okay.
So, they do still, and, I hear from people all over the world, just to me for hearing about Maury. It's pretty amazing. And they say, oh, I was just listening to Jim Croce, and I looked him up and blah, 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 and I saw a video on YouTube, and I saw who's this other guy, and I searched and almost like that a song I heard, who is that guy? Where's he from? And so he, people are writing to me all the time and saying, I had no idea, and I started playing guitar when I was 13 because I heard Jim Croce songs, and now I know that a lot of that stuff that I could never figure out how to do was because your brother was playing it.
Right.
And it makes me so proud.
That was going to be my next question. How much time do we have left, Claire? I know.
8 minutes.
Okay. Do you want to do one more song
It's up to
before
you.
we?
It's up to you.
You tell me. You have this. We have a plethora of vinyl and.
We also have
beautiful.
a couple more of Maury's songs. We also,
Right.
Yeah.
because we
Well,
just did Wintry Morning.
Maury wrote a song actually before he, most of his songs he wrote before he started going on the road with Jim. On the Jim Croce one that I brought, the CD, there's a song called Salon and Saloon that Maury wrote. And on the last album, Jim didn't have enough songs. They were busy on the road, and he had given them everything he had at the time. And so besides I Got a Name, which was written by Gimbel and Fox, and a song called Thursday that was written by Joe Salviolo, who was the professor.
Right.
He needed one more song, and he chose a song that Maury wrote. But Maury didn't sing it on the album. Tommy West and Jim wanted to do it as kind of a special gift to Maury so that one of Maury's songs would get royalties from this last
From the
album. And so it's a beautiful song. Maury went to high school with one of his classmates was a girl named Mary. It wasn't me. And she was beautiful. She was a ballerina. She was in all those music festivals. And they shared a lot of classes, and they were just quiet, intellectual, artistic friends. It wasn't, a love relationship or anything. And but they really were good friends. And so she went away to college in New Rochelle, New York. And Maury went to Glassboro, and then, all this happened for him. And they weren't in touch. People didn't keep in touch after high school back then because everybody went, there were no cell phones or anything, or Facebook. So she he was home, and he went to a July 4th picnic at Lon and Derek Van Eaton's over on Columbia Avenue. And there was a girl there, and she needed to get to the Trenton train station to go home. So Maury said, I'll walk. Nobody had cars. So Maury said, I'll walk you downtown. I know how to get to the Trenton train station. So he walked this girl downtown, and they were standing there waiting for the train. And he turns around, and there's Mary from high school. And she was there seeing off a friend that she had come home from college for the July 4th weekend. And they the two friends that they had got on the train and left. Maury hardly knew the girl. And Mary said goodbye to her friend. And Maury and Mary, she had her mother's car. So she said, Maury, I'll take you home. Well, we only lived about a mile from downtown. So that she could have had him home in 5 or 10 minutes at the most. And they spent hours together. Her mother was like, where have you been?
Like Gilligan's Island.
Yeah,
Took a 3-hour tour.
3-hour tour. So they went driving everywhere and just talking about, have you seen this one, and what are you doing, and blah, blah, blah. And Maury said, so this was July 4th weekend, Maury said, I just met this guy named Jim. It was a couple days before. On July 1st, he had gone to the Main Point to see James Taylor. And so he said, I just, spent time with this guy, and he's going to probably play. I made an album. I'm recording an album right now. It's almost done, and this guy's going to, play guitar with me. And so his name's Jim. He didn't say Jim Croce. It was just a guy named Jim. And so...
well, I'm going to stop you there
ahead.
because
You
we're
wanna
not going
play
to have
the
time to play
Okay.
the song because
All right.
we're going to
So
run out.
this is about Maury and Mary meeting at the Trenton train station and spending the day together.
That's a heck of a walk from Columbia Avenue to train station.
No, not back then. Not back then.
Did the distance change?
Everything's walking distance if you have the
If you
time.
have the time, right? All right. Here's a song called
Salon and Saloon.
Sometimes I think about our good old high school days. You would always care about my adolescent ways. Oh, Mary, Mary, good to see you too. Haven't seen too many of the old crew. The time just flew. And how are you? Strange we should meet here, seeing off our friends. It's hard to draw the line between beginnings and ends. Oh, Mary, Mary, must you go so soon? We must be a sight to see, salon and saloon. I'll look you up soon, maybe sing you a tune.
There we go. That's Maury Muehlleisen. Oh, what?
Spotify just keeps going.
Okay, maybe that wasn't Maury Muehlleisen. I'm here with his sister, Mary, and she has been, for the last almost 2 hours, telling us tales that you will not hear anywhere else. You'll hear a smattering of them, or a small portion of them in the film. Listen up, Trenton Makes Music. March 7th is in the first three, they've all been sold out.
Sold out.
And now this March 7th one at the Lambertville Elks, I think they've got more than half the tickets are sold. I talked to Frank actually this morning. So they've probably only got about 20 tickets left for that.
That
so
should be a good one. If you're in the area,
right.
get there.
And then the Randy Now's Man Cave is on April 4th.
April 4th at the Man Cave in Heightstown,
I'm going to that.
which is directly behind
Brewery.
or the
Heightstown.
man, not the Man Cave,
Heightstown.
where my band rehearses is directly behind the Man Cave. No, not in the brewery, but the backyard butts up to the brewery.
Oh.
So, yeah, lots of fun. So your mission, show you accept it, Mrs. Phelps, has been to keep Maury's legacy and music and with this film, it kind of really, for those of us who are local or have seen the film, and I think it's kind of brought his name in the forefront because I think I said to you that Maury Muehleisen, when I heard the Trenton guy, okay, to me it was no different than Ray. It wasn't something that was familiar to me, and as big a fan as, like I said, my ex-wife of Jim Croce, I never read the liner notes. It was a CD. I mean, liner notes went from being this big to like minuscule, But then, probably, I don't know how long ago it was, years back, I discovered the connection. And then, like as I said in the film, I didn't realize you were his sister. I'm like, who is this woman? I mean, but I am so glad that I figured it out. So going forward, Mara, what are you going to do? What's the next step?
Well, I'm hoping to finish my book. It's a chronological story of our lives from the time Maury and I came into our family, and then through our happy childhood and high school days, and Maury, playing piano and going into teaching himself guitar, and the little gigs that he got being a strolling musician down at the Trent house one summer, and all the jobs that he had. Hey, it wasn't easy, just like anybody else. He worked at a meat packing plant. He built crates for submarine batteries at Gould in Trenton. He did whatever he could do to make a few bucks.
He didn't work at the meatpacking plant on Willow Street, did he?
Yes, I think it was Willow. Yeah.
God, my grandfather used to take me there when I was a kid,
Yeah.
too.
Well, they're famous for Scrapple, whatever that was. I think it was called Farmcrest meatpacking plant.
I don't remember.
And he said, yeah, we ate Scrapple when we were kids. I remember that package. They still make the
They
exact
do.
same thing. And he said, oh, I don't even want to tell you. But, if you fry it up good, it's tasty. But, yeah, he had all kinds of jobs. Painted a house one summer on State Street. Actually, the house that I was born in, it was a doctor's office. My mom never made it to the hospital with me. So, yeah.
My pediatrician was on West State Street.
I bet. Who, Dr. Robinson?
Nope.
Oh.
Aronis.
Oh, Dr. Aronis.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Aronis.
No, not Aronis, Dr. Aronis.
And when I was a kid, I used to get very severe pains in my toes,
Oh.
like right across where the toe would meet the upper part of your foot. So my parents tried everything, and they took me to a foot doctor called Dr. Finnegan on the corner of West State and just past the State House. Or no, cross street, State and Barracks, right there on the corner. His office is right there. So Claire's giving me the fist,
Yeah. It's time.
I'm used to it. It's okay.
which means we have to wrap it up.
Oh.
But if you want to see the movie, if you get a chance to see the movie, Trenton Makes Music, listen up, Trenton Makes Music. check that out. Mary, thank you so much for
You're
making the
welcome.
trip up here.
Thank you.
Ray, thank you for accompanying
My
her.
chauffeur.
That's right.
Remember, Madison needs chocolate.
Chocolate.
Right.
Madison, anything you would like to add?
Nope, nothing for me. Just give me the chocolate.
Bring in
Just
the
give me
candy.
the chocolate.
I'll take leftovers.
Yup, I'll
Madison's
mail you
leftover-
the extra.
There'll be no leftover with Madison.
Don't get near her mouth.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, thank you so much for having us.
No,
That
I
was
think
great.
it's a great story, and I know we could do 3 more of these shows, and would just be scratching the surface. These are the rock and roll stories that people don't hear. So thank you so much, and thank you for bringing the music and bringing back some memories. And get that book finished,
I'm
because
trying.
people are going to forget who Jim Croce was.
Oh, they'll never forget. They'll never forget. There's
Nah,
a lot
that's
about
true.
Jim in there too.
His
It's-
music has lasted a lifetime, and that's a good tribute to your brother as
Yeah,
well.
thank you.
So next week we have Chuck M, I believe, next week. So until next week.